What's going on, everybody? Today, we're going to be diving a little bit more into the theoretical in this video and exploring a certain baby-faced assassin from Penn State who, in his spare time that he has outside of punching fraternity brothers, you might be surprised to find he's actually a pretty damn good wrestler. Of course, we're going to be talking about Braeden Davis today. If you've been watching his career over the past couple years, you might have found that he's been on kind of a downward trajectory as of late. And in this video, we're kind of going to theory craft as to why that is and what might be the best solution for him. If you guys don't know his history, basically, for his freshman year season, he came in as, like, the lock to win the national title, all right? He won the Big Tens as a freshman, and he absolutely dominated everybody. He was the epitome of, like, machine gun mindset before Bo Bassett even coined the term. Like, the dude was clearly big enough and very much strong enough for his weight, and you could see it. He would just absolutely break people, and it showed in that finals match against Patrick McKee, where he absolutely broke him. Like, Patrick never looked the same after that match. But, of course, he went 2-2 that tournament when he lost to Richard Figueroa and Jory Volk, which two guys that are extremely good and obviously went on to do very good things. So those aren't even that bad of losses. But come sophomore season, he bumps up a weight to 33, and he does a little bit worse that season. He still does okay at Big Tens, and I think he takes 5th at the national tournament that year. And then this season, the 2025 to the 2026, he bumps up one more weight class to 141, and this season he has performed the worst yet. He places 8th at Big Tens, gets an auto bid in the national tournament, and gets seeded 16th, and proceeds to not place. Now, this doesn't really surprise me that much because Braeden has kind of very clearly been on a downward trajectory, and it just very much shows with his style and how he's been performing against top guys. Like, if we watch his match against Brock Hardy, it's a perfect case study as to what has been truly happening, because if you guys forget, in that match, he was very clearly winning. Like, he was ahead in points nearly the entire time until he gassed out and he shot a bad shot. And eventually Brock just overpowered him and cradled him up. And then obviously you saw what happened afterward. He freaked out and, like, kind of kicked Brock Hardy. And, you know, we'll talk about that later because that might actually have to do a lot with, you know, kind of coachability and temperament issues. But obviously there's a very clear problem. Braeden Davis is nowhere near big enough nor strong enough for 141 pounds. And we're going to talk about why that might be the case, why he's been struggling so much. First off, let's talk about Penn State as a team. Obviously, everybody who watches wrestling and just knows about Penn State's dominance in general is well aware of the fact that Penn State doesn't develop people, or they don't really develop people as much as they just recruit a better guy. If you're falling behind, best believe they have another #1 ranked guy in the nation who's coming in to fill your spot next season, so you better not slip up. This is very clearly kind of what happened to Braeden Davis. After his freshman year, they conscripted Luke Lillidahl, who is arguably better than Braeden Davis. And then the following year, they conscripted Marcus Blaze, who is very clearly leagues above Braeden Davis. No shade against him, but, like, these are two top-tier guys in the country, and Braeden just really can't hold the candle to them. So he's forced out of both of those weights, and he bumps up to 41, and Penn State's next best guy is, like, Aaron Nagao, who's injured. So, obviously, he kind of has to take the only spot that's available if he wants to start. I think the issue lies in the fact that that happened way too fast, and Penn State is not really even seeing him as a viable option. They're already looking at somebody to replace him. To me, at least, it's clear that Braeden's kind of being treated as a filler, and they're not really taking the time to develop him. They're not putting him on a strict enough lifting schedule. They're not making him eat. They're not fattening him up like they should be, and it's showing. He's very clearly been the weak link on their roster, and that hurts me to say. I've been very invested in Braeden Davis's potential since he's been in high school, and to see them kind of treat him like this is a little bit upsetting. Another reason I think that he's not doing as well is because I don't think he's been taking his recovery seriously, and on top of that, I don't think he's as coachable as we previously thought. Obviously, going back to that example of him, you know, his public intoxication charges, his, like, fighting at the fraternity, the dude has a chip on his shoulder, and he's that classic kind of bar brawler that, you know, every coach kind of hates to see coming because he's getting into trouble, and, you know, that doesn't fly at Penn State. They're all a team of professionals who take their sport extremely, extremely seriously. So to have somebody like Braeden, who's kind of looks to be the team's crash out, doing all this stuff, it's not a good look for the team. I've had guys that are similar on the team. You know, they're the ones who get into trouble, and they tend to not be the most coachable people. And ultimately, that's what Kale is looking for. He's looking for a guy who can just turn his brain off and just get better, to absolutely devote himself to lifting in the room, to eating more and getting bigger, and just filling whatever role he's given. And Braeden Davis does not strike me as that guy. I don't know about what's going on behind closed doors. You know, he's also the quietest guy on the team, so there's not that much information information or behind the scenes details, and they're kind of secretive about what they do. But in my opinion, when I see a guy struggling as much as this, I see two unfortunate circumstances. I see a guy who might not be applying himself enough, and I also see a failure of the coaches to not encourage him to do better. In all honesty, I think the best move for him, which I think is realistically not going to happen because he's at Penn State. He's wrestled 3 years there. He could pull a Barclough and transfer out to a worse team and, you know, have a chance to really shine, but I think he's too stubborn for that. So I don't have high hopes for him transferring, but what I think is best for him is to transfer out to another team still in like the top 5 to 10 teams, a Nebraska or an Iowa or a Minnesota, and I truly think that he can break through the lineup there, and I think all of those teams that I just mentioned would be absolutely lucky to have a guy like that. They would absolutely take the time to develop him. They would put him on a strict leash. They would put him on a strict regimen, training schedule, eating diet, everything that would make this guy good. Those teams would be 100% willing to do what Penn State is not willing to. And those teams obviously don't have the leverage to recruit another guy, so they obviously have to put the effort into developing him. So if I had to put in a definitive pip for all my corporate viewers, I would tell them, hey, Jesse Mendez is graduating this season. 141 at Ohio State, perhaps, is opening up. I think you're good enough, and they would be lucky to have you. I think you should go to Ohio State. I think you should go to Nebraska. I think you should go Minnesota. I think Von Bauer has 1 more year left, so maybe. I don't know. Either way, Braeden is good enough to fill pretty much any spot on any other team, and I think it is in his best interest to get the hell out of Penn State ASAP, because they are not giving him the proper attention that he deserves, and to see such a promised wrestler go through such a downfall is really hurtful to see. I hope Braeden ends up getting his flowers, but if he stays at Penn State, I don't have high hopes for him turning this decline around. With that out of the way, thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you especially so much for blowing my last video out of the water. You guys absolutely killed it, and I'm so thankful for each and every one of you for all the support that you've shown me. From the bottom of my heart, thank you everybody so much for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe and share it with your friends. Thank you guys so much for watching.